Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the SH Figuarts Avengers Infinity War movie Star-Lord figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
And not too much going on the side of the box. You can see a picture of the figure, SH Figuarts, Star-Lord, Avengers Infinity War. And on the opposite side, pretty much more of the same. Alright, so I got the MCU Star-Lord out of the package. Not bad, pretty cool figure. This is definitely one that you might want to grab if you were not able to grab their first release of Star-Lord, which was sort of like a deluxe figure. It actually came with some of the Tamashii explosion effects that were colored kind of pinkish. I guess they kind of wanted to give it a cosmic sort of look, but I've used them plenty of times with more terrestrial displays. But from what I can tell, this guy is just pretty much the same buck as the previous version with some deco changes. Looks like he changed up his jacket and pants and his undershirt a bit from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because the first figure release was based on that film. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this guy. This will be more of a comparative review, but let's go over his accessories real quick. And out of the package, he comes with 2 fists, and then he's got a set of open hands with the fingers slightly spread. Then he's got a couple of hands with the trigger fingers extended, and obviously these are suited so he can hold his 2 weapons, his signature blasters here, and he can hold these with no issue. There was no problem swapping out the hands. The pegs for the wrist are very small, but it was an easy swap, and the fingers are sort of softer plastic, so getting the blasters into his hand was no issue. And unfortunately no place for him to hold his blasters, but just taking a quick look at the head sculpt here before I swap on his last accessory, which is the helmeted sculpt, or the head sculpt with the mask on. And this looks good. I can see some slight differences from the original version, which I'll break out in a second, but I do think the likeness to Chris Pratt is there. I feel like the original one is just a tad bit better, though. I'll see in a moment, but not bad. They're still doing what they do with these kind of like goldish highlights in the hair, which is a pain in the ass, but the head sculpt is not bad. And there's a look at his final accessory, which looks cool, and I can tell this one, this head sculpt is slightly different from the original as well, but it looks good. And there's a quick look at the 2 side by side. On the right, you have the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 version, the one that came in a deluxe box set, I guess you can say, with the explosions, and then the newer version here on the left. And you can see the slight differences in the deco. The shirts are different, the helmets are different. I'll give you a close-up look at the helmet, but again, just some slight deco changes. Looks like he changed his clothes just a bit from the previous movie. The blasters are slightly different. This is the blaster that came with the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 version. It's just pretty much the gold. The gold is a more sort of vibrant color on a newer version, but other than that, the blasters are pretty much the same. And then there's a good look at the head sculpts, and you can see this sort of area and the eyes is different. There's more white in this one, whereas this one is totally red, and the hair is just a little bit different. There's more of that sort of gold look on the newer version. But you can definitely swap between the 2 heads, I'm sure. Let me check. Yeah, no issue there. I'm sure if you wanted to kind of change up the jackets between the 2, I suppose you could probably pull it off and mess around with that too. And I've noticed that he pops off very easy here at the lower waist. So if you really wanted to do some swapping and some kit bashing, I suppose you could. And just a look at them from the back. So there's that. And there's a look at the 2 unmasked heads, and I hope I put these back on right. I'm pretty sure that I did. But like I said, I think I do like the original version just a tad bit better. I think the likeness may just be a little bit better on the original release. But you can definitely swap these heads as well. Pretty much the same articulation as the previous version. Head is on a ball joint, gonna look down pretty far. It'll look up just about that far. It can turn left to right, do a full 360, get some pivot. No issue moving the head around. Shoulders are on the ball joint. They're gonna actually come up pretty far. You can do a full 360. It is that sort of ratcheted joint on the shoulder, so it sounds awful, but it's not breaking. You do get a bit of a butterfly joint here on the shoulder. The shoulders are pretty tight, but bottom line is you can manipulate the arms and the shoulder, or the arm at the shoulder, with no issue. You get just a bit more than 90 degrees on the elbow. I wouldn't really consider it double jointed. You get a swivel and a hinge on the wrist. You do get upper waist or upper torso articulation. It'll turn left to right a bit, and you get a little bit of a crunch on the upper. You get more on the lower abdomen, and you can turn them left to right, but it is a pain in the ass that this keeps popping off. You got to be careful with that. Legs are going to come up. See what I mean? Legs are going to come up just about that far. Let me get them back together here. And a split will look like that. You do get an upper thigh rotation. You can see that sort of double ball peg in there. You do get a double jointed knee, and you can get rotation, a slight hinge on the foot, and a slight pivot. Not as deep as I would like, but not bad. I know that a lot of people kind of complained about the pelvis area on the previous one and said he had the diaper butt, and it's not really much different here. So you do have to do a bit of finagling to get him to look streamlined and authentic when you're just trying to stand them in a vanilla pose, or even when you're trying to do something dynamic. It does take a bit of work, but it's still decent articulation. And one quick size comparison, and I'm gonna get out of here. This is pretty much a good amount of the crew that went up against Thanos on Titan. And if you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War yet, you need to go and get yourself a ticket right now and see the movie. I'm going to be seeing it for the third time sometime this weekend. But on the left, we have the first Doctor Strange figure that they released. I'll be reviewing the Infinity War version up next, so stay tuned for that. And then to the immediate right of Star-Lord, we have the Spider-Man Homecoming Spider-Man, and on the far right, it's the Civil War Iron Man. So this will kind of give you an idea of how things will stack up with some of the other Infinity War figures that SH Figuarts is going to release. And it should be noted that the accessories that came with Star-Lord, as far as the interchangeable hands and stuff like that, are exactly the same as those that were released with the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 version. So no different hands or anything like that. It's pretty much the same. Like I said, it's mostly just the deco. So not a bad figure here. Still pretty cool. If you trying to do the import thing and build up your Avengers crew from that movie, then you need to get on it, because the prices on the secondary market are definitely climbing for these figures, and it's only going to get worse if you're not able to get these directly from Japan at this point. You're definitely going to be spending almost close to $100 for some of these figures. So I would recommend this guy, though. I do think he's cool, but it is cooler if you have the original figure to kind of mix and match and do some different things with. All right, on to the next one. Doctor Strange will be up next. I'll be doing quite a few figures from Infinity War. I got some Legends to do as well, going into the Cole Obsidian Build-A-Figure wave and all of that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.